What if I told you that the universe of Timothy the Tank Engine expands farther than anyone had ever realized? That his legacy would become almost infinite? The horror and the terror he created rippled through the fabric of space and time, a timeline so vast that it rivals that of Marvel. Well, then I'd be lying. It's just a mediocre creepypasta. No, today, I don't want to talk about Timothy. I want to talk about something cosmically better. The perfect example of where Thomas the Tank Engine meets horrific. I'm sure some of you already know what I'm talking about. Yes, this is the world of Shed 17. Shed 17 is an animated mockumentary created by Paulsvids in October 2015. You could say it's some sort of successor to his series of documentaries that began with Bertha, the True Story. This is also a great watch, and I suggest you go check it out. I had never heard of Bertha before, despite being from Britain, but apparently it aired from April 1st, 1985 to June 18th, 1986. So fair enough. Also, it's Bertha's 35-year anniversary today. Who would have thought? Anyway, Shed 17 follows the story, or origin story, of Thomas the Tank Engine, and exists as if the trains and characters from the show were real people tainted by a crooked experiment, which was started by a Nazi. Wow, what are the chances? It's a truly fascinating piece of work. Most of the characters are documented in detail with backstories and, eventually, the graphic ways they meet their demise. This video is not for the faint of heart, and especially if you do not wish to have your cherished childhood memories corrupted. But with all that out the way, it's time to reveal how I feel about the video. Now, I won't be discussing in detail the lore and development because I've only got today to make this video, but I will tell you what I think of this show, and why it's so effective at being disturbing. If you wish nothing to be spoilt, then I suggest you watch the original before watching this one. Although I'm not a massive fan of low-poly animated renders, the blend of real-life, stop-motion and CGI is done surprisingly well, as to not make it feel like a complete mess of assets. It almost makes the gory moments more effective and disturbing. A great example of this is Mavis's fueling scene.
Have you ever heard a locomotive scream in pain? We tried rinsing out the fuel tank with water, but by then it was too late.
Mavis's body would be kept under lock and key indefinitely.
I've always thought that the scene at the end with the hollow eyes is incredibly creepy. Another death that is generally unexpected and subtly done is Percy's.
They had to put a stop to that though.
God, it's messed up. It isn't just the deaths that make this video's great atmosphere, it's the storyline too. Following the Fat Controller as the main antagonist, otherwise known as the Fat Bat. It tells the story of greed, dreams, and corruption, an experiment doomed to fail from the beginning. Putting wealth and profit before human life, a very real and scary subject in today's world. I don't want to get political in this video, but Shed 17 is definitely pushing some sort of message, whether we realise it or not. Anyway, I have to stress that almost every aspect of this video is crafted with care and intent, whether to entertain us or disturb us. Don't get me started on the ending, obviously the highlight of the experience, and it definitely is the most memorable part. The video concludes with Thomas's discovery of who he really is, and that he is nothing more than a lab rat. Unfortunately for the audience, we already knew this, so the revelation isn't massive, but what is massive is what happens next. I don't want to discuss how this literally made Thomas jump out of his own skin, unless that was part of the joke. But everything about this scene is just bizarre. Why is his skeleton so large? How is he able to stay alive in there? What does biofusion do to the body? How does he survive that? All these questions are ones that will never be answered, but that's the beauty of ambiguity. So yeah, Shed 17 is an absolute must-see for all creepypasta, horror, and Thomas the Tank Engine fans alike. It's rare to come across an original story / parody that has been created with such attention to detail and an actual interesting plot, because I'm sure all of us at some stage were wondering why those trains had faces. There is also a sequel to Shed 17 that came out a little while ago called Project G1, which basically progresses the main storyline and goes into more detail on some more of the characters. I'd be inclined to say it isn't as good as Shed 17, but still an enjoyable end to the series. I think you can all guess why I like this series so much, and it's just because I love corrupting and ruining my childhood memories. There's something morbid about taking something so innocent and fun and taking it into some sort of twisted, sickening world. It's something horror fans are all too familiar with. Thank you everyone for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. By the way, Timothy made a cameo in a teaser for the sequel, Project G1, and that's why I'm allowed to make this video, so April Fool's punks.